Don't ever let men send mail to your house, or you may end up having to literally evict them. Y'all, I had no idea how important this information was until I started talking more about Hobosexual. But given the comments in my last video, there are so many horror stories of these men who literally just move in and you don't even realize they're moving in. And they change all their bills to your address, and it's just like, oh, can I just have some mail sent to you? It's usually not just that, y'all. So I'm gonna give you a little checklist. Are you dating or friends with a hobosexual and they're about to ruin your life? Checklist, okay? 1, do they not have a fixed address? If they say they live here and there, or are between between apartments, or just off of a breakup, or some sort of like eviction, these men don't have homes. They're lying. If they have a storage unit, they're very likely a hobosexual. Although a lot of hobosexuals won't even have that. And if you live in a mountain town, ski town, any town with a bunch of outdoorsy dudes, never let them store their gear in your basement or your attic or anywhere in your house. You are now their free storage unit. And I say this as somebody who lived in my truck for 5 years, okay? This was me. I lived this lifestyle for many years. But unlike men, I never expect women to be my mommy and bankroll me and also fork me on the side also and, cook for me, do my laundry, and let me keep all my stuff in their place. I had a friend who left his car at my other friend's house, and this was a guy friend, both of them are men, for years. And the dude was like, I don't know how to make this guy come get his car off my property, but it's a pain in the butt. We all loved this guy, and he was just such a free spirit or whatever. Sorry, some of the nicest guys I know are hobosexuals, free spirit climbers, literally just want to be a Peter Pan for the rest of their lives. But you can't do that after a certain age. And women, all these Peter Pans always have a Wendy. Wendy is the most codependent chick in all of fairy tale history. Well, actually all the women are. Belle from Beauty and the Beast is the other one. Wendy is I gotta do a whole video on Wendy. Do not be a Peter's Wendy, okay? And even if you were a Patricia Pan like me, I never assumed that I didn't have to take care of myself. I never expected anyone to pay for anything. I never ever depended on a man the way these Peter Pans will depend on their Wendy. Never leaves your place. If you have a guy friend coming through town and he's just traveling, he may never leave. If you have a new boyfriend who's over all the time and it's just more convenient, or maybe he works in your neighborhood, he probably doesn't even have a job. But if he does, it's because his place sucks. He's at your place all the time. Look at this. Sometimes these guys literally become squatters. But if you have a boyfriend or a guy friend or, a free spirit traveling guy who's just, between something and he's always in your house, these men will take over your house. They never leave. They never get out. They will literally make your place as if it's their own, when not only are they not paying rent, they are not contributing anything. They don't even wash their own dishes. They leave hair everywhere. If they're a hairy man, they don't clean. They pee all over your toilet. They just leave a mess everywhere because so many of these men literally just think that mommies are everywhere and they got a surrogate mommy everywhere, just following them around and cleaning up after them. My dog's awake again. He's like, oh my God, are you talking about king babies again? Because he's a king baby. Okay, here's another one. If romance starts brewing around the drop in temperatures or tax time, I love this reference. Winter's coming. Winter's coming. Again, this is particularly true in the outdoor community. These men will live in their trucks. I'm telling y'all this as somebody who lived in my car and was following the work, although I never landed anywhere other than my own truck or somewhere I was paying rent. Never. Once I got a job at a hostel and worked for I literally lived in a shack in the backyard of this hostel in Taos, New Mexico. But it never occurred to me to just find some person to screw and hook up with them and leave my stuff at their place because I need a warm bed. But in these ski towns, these men will live in tents, their trucks, During all of the other season, as soon as the winter starts dropping, all of a sudden, you got guys who are looking for a warm bed, and that's it. Someone else in my comments of that last video was like, if you are a people pleaser, and once you have your own place as a woman, and then on top of that, if you have like codependency issues or like childhood trauma or any kind of stuff where you have enabling tendencies, these men, they're just like, that one, and they'll find you, and the next thing you go, you got one in your home. And once you get them there, you can't get them out, especially if you give them your address to put on any of their things. Rapidly sequential relationship history. These men always have they can't stay single, and it's not because they love. It's because they just need somewhere to go. I've told y'all before, the dude that I ended up, the hobosexual abuser dude, he started flirting with, he couldn't stand his girlfriend. I didn't know he had a girlfriend. He was living with her and her mother, using her car, okay? And I didn't know this woman existed because he started flirting with me a lot. And we flirted for a long time before I even found out he had a girlfriend. And so as soon as he had me hooked on him, he ditched her and moved right in with me. These men, as soon as they sense there's any trouble, they will start cheating on you. They're already probably cheating on you anyway because they don't even like you. And if they're like a narcissist or any of that stuff, they need to cheat because they're just bored and they hate themselves. And a lot of men just cheat because they just can't be alone. And they need a constant, ego hits. The dude was literally looking for schmegs on Craigslist in Santa Fe, Colorado Springs, Albuquerque, Roswell, New Mexico, which is like 9 hours away. I have receipts. I've done videos on it. I can show. I found all this stuff when I broke into his phone before I broke up with him the first time. These dudes cannot be alone, and it's literally not, it has nothing to do with, and it's usually some crazy girl or whatever, and it's usually because she kicked him out because she realized he's a hobo. Okay, here's another one, really spotty work history. This is key right here. The man drives the woman's car. They all do this, y'all. I mean, if yours isn't doing all these things, he probably will at some point. Drives her car, drops her off at work, takes her car and does God knows what with it while she's at work to earn the money to pay all the bills so that, he can keep sucking off her pants. He is typically not gainfully employed, but has a lot of odd jobs and brands himself as an entrepreneur. I want you to pay attention the next time you're on these dating apps. How many men in their profiles say they're an entrepreneur? That's what they all said. And I was like, I used to think like entrepreneur. And they all went to, especially in LA, Full Sail Academy. What is that? I Googled it. I'm like, what is this? Why they all say they go to Full Sail Academy? Entrepreneur, they're hobos. They're hobos. Here's another one. They start calling you mean names. Remember I did that video yesterday on Steve and Miranda? Steve was a hobosexual on Schmegs in the City. And every time she challenged him living there and being a king baby and eating cereal and watching TV all day, or him taking up the whole space, he started saying, God, I feel like you're the dude sometimes. Name calling. Okay, this is another key one, y'all. Text message out of nowhere. I did that video the other day saying these guys that circle back, watch out. They're bored. They're probably married and cheating, and they're literally next to their wife or girlfriend being like, good, I hate this girl, but ooh, hey. Like these men who circle back, it's never good. It is never good. It's not because they realize they love you one day. It's because they need something. Either a stroke to the ego, a hit of validation. But a lot of times it's because their wife or girlfriend kicked them out, or, they just want to cheat, or they're a hobosexual. They're homosexual and they need a place to live. Needs a little help getting on his feet. These men always have a crisis of their own making, right? And women have been conditioned to just save the day. It's so funny that these men call themselves our protectors and whatever, providers. They protect themselves and their egos and their male friends sometimes if the men are doing crap to us. And they're providers of nothing but stress. And we are the ones who always save the day. We're the ones who swoop in and save these men because they have a crisis. I promise you, these men are making up these crises. Half the time, this job they lost, they never had a job. They are so creative, y'all. They can spin the craziest stories. And we just buy it just because we can't imagine fabricating something like that to use somebody. I promise you, they have no problem with it. Let these men in your home. Don't let them use your address. It will ruin the one safe space you have.